to another episode of the Looney Tunes. I'm your host, Michelle.
And Chris.
Welcome. All right. Chris, you'd think it was freezing in here.
We got winter weather outside. We got a lot of snow. We got about 10, 12 inches at least of snow. So it was a fun snow day and a tiring snow day, shoveling and stuff like that. But
Yeah, we
you
got
got
our
to dress
workout in.
warm. Yeah, you got to dress warm. You got to be prepared, wear the correct clothing. We saw some people out there who shouldn't be out there because
No.
they'll just have a little jacket on. They have no gloves, no mittens or whatever. So you got to have your hat or whatever. If you don't like that hat, you can always go with one of my favorite hats. This is a good hat to wear. Um, I think my kids would like this. This is a good one.
Oh,
That
wait.
keeps the snow out of your.
That is
Yeah.
Scooby Doo.
Yeah. Yeah. It keeps your.
Doinks. Can you do a Scooby Doo voice? I can't do it. Doinks. But that's good. But why? Why is it good to be protected like that? To cover your head? Because guess what? The temperatures were like 5, okay, maybe 8. But
Okay, this is
wait,
another good one here.
check out this guy.
And this
Look
one,
at this.
my Philly
Whoa.
Fanatic hat. So yeah, you gotta dress
we could say so
warmly,
many
but
things
you can
about
also
that hat.
dress for fun too. And if it brings a smile to someone's day, then that's what's important. And if
Brings a
anybody
smile
knows
to my
me,
face sometimes.
if anybody knows me, I like to wear my cartoon shirts or my funny hats or whatever, just to make people get a smile in. And if it does, then it did its point. So
It did its point. All right,
yep.
hold on.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Oh, there
The
we
hair.
go. All right, back to normal.
The two hairs that I have. But yeah, you got to
Two's
dress
better
warm.
than one.
That's right. So you got to dress warmly. You got to make sure that if you're going to be out in this weather, to dress warmly. If you have neighbors, especially elderly neighbors, check on them. But just be kind and check on all your neighbors. Help them out if you can. So that's important too.
That is important. And what we'd like to go over, just because it is winter and we've been inside all day, aside from the shoveling snow that we did, is we want to go over some snow weather announcements / emergency preparedness.
So a lot of people don't even know what winter advisory means.
Oh, well, tell me, Chris.
Winter
what do they mean?
advisory is when just to
Advise me, Chris.
advise you. It keeps you aware of what's possibly coming or could come. It's the lowest on the totem pole, I always say. As a teacher and a big kid, the big one you want to hear is the winter storm warning. When you hear that on the radio, you know something's coming. And so, winter advisory is the low man on the totem pole. Next, if you hear winter storm watch, that means there's possibles of a snowstorm. And then, like I said, if you hear warning, you know something's coming. So be prepared.
Yeah, be prepared. I mean, the watch to me means watch out because it's coming. There's a potential. They advised you, can't talk today, that snow really got us.
What's in your drink?
Water. And then the
Maybe.
warning, which makes this guy like giddy as all get out, because guess what? He has a day off on Tuesday. No school.
So yeah, it's the big kid in me too. Just even if I wasn't teaching, I think it's still exciting for that snow. I like it. Even shoveling it, I don't mind it. Now, if I'm shoveling third or fourth time around, then I'm done. Bring on
Yeah.
the warm weather and the sun, because but I like one good snow year. That's why I like Maryland.
Yeah. This should hopefully be the one good snow. I mean, I went out and I was like trying to dig my car out. The next thing you know, my fingers were getting cold, my toes were getting cold, so I don't really think my gloves and boots were that good as they could have been, but you know,
I could have let you borrow one of my hats.
I could have borrowed one of your hats. That would have been fun.
But also we saw some people going out, and they shouldn't be out when they call. What do you call it on the roads?
The emergencies, like,
The
well,
snow
yeah,
clearing
like the
effect, when
governor called a state of emergency, and yet you had people still out on the roads that probably are not first responders or needing to be at a hospital, like a nurse or a doctor or
When
something like that.
Yeah, when the snow emergency plan's on, you shouldn't be out on the roads. Let the plows do their job and get the roads plowed up, and they trying to keep up with the snowfall and stuff like that. And people in front wheel drive cars are deciding, oh, I need to go out and get something all of a sudden. It's like, really, you had 3 or 4
Days,
days to get ready.
days. You
So
had days, and maybe you lived under a rock if you didn't know that the winter storm was coming, you know, because there were plenty of notifications everywhere. And I don't know, I mean, I was calling my mom. I'm like, are you prepared? I'm like posting on my social media just to make everyone aware. I know everybody probably thinks like, why is Michelle sending this? Because sometimes people just don't pay attention. And I also think there's this thing that we are starting it's starting to happen to us, is we get the warning so much. It's like we have warning fatigue. So we don't want to pay attention when we really need to pay attention.
well, sometimes they're wrong too. So I guess we're thinking, ah, they're going to be wrong again this time. But you just got to be prepared. You even just like with what you're going to do, we had games planned, books to read. Well, she had books to read, and I had a couple comic books to read, and just some
He was
activities
he
that
was
we're going to do,
creating his next
puzzles
trivia game.
and games that we're going to play. So that type of stuff. You know you don't have to be in front of the TV the whole time. Listen to the radio, listen to music. We colored last night actually, and we're gonna play a board game tomorrow with some friends. So that's what you do. You just find some time to enjoy one another's company with your family and friends if you can. So that's
Yeah.
it. When you're,
So, Chris,
I'm
tell
sorry,
us some, like, what are some things that, like, if I'm in my car, what should I have in my car?
you should make sure that you have a full tank of gas all the way through,
Okay.
in case you have to go out. But again, if it's this type of weather, you don't want to be out. But if you have to be out, or it's winter weather, just in general, you should always have a first aid kit. You should have flares. Um, you should have tools. Um,
But don't be a tool.
don't be a tool.
Don't be a
No.
tool.
Um,
But you know what? Going back to the gas thing, I think the reason I thought I heard somewhere in a video or that the reason that you fill up your gas tank is because you don't want to leave a lot of air, because if there's any moisture in there, it could freeze your fuel line. So I feel like that is, but don't quote me on that. We're not experts. We're here for our own entertainment.
and and also jumper cables, things like that, a charger, ice scraper, um, blankets, cold weather. If you want to keep some dry food, like just some crackers and
Some snacks,
not
snacks.
not not a whole lot, not a whole uh, container of snacks, but maybe just a couple crackers or something like that.
Those
A
those
bag of nuts.
right, those or don't, yeah, unless you are a nut. Just kidding. There's nothing. It's all water in
Oh, and a flashlight. Flashlight. You want to have flashlights. So just like at home, you want to have some of that stuff as well. You want to have your first aid kit handy, um, flashlights, drinking water. We have plenty of drinking water. Blankets. We have plenty of blankets. And
What about snow pants? Do we need snow pants?
well, you needed snow pants today.
I wore my snow pants today, and I was very happy. And then I probably kept them on like half the day because they were so cozy.
Yeah.
But he likes to have the temperature at like 64 in the winter. I'm like, it's freezing.
Okay. Well, you got to save some energy here, save some money somewhere. Um, but yeah, so just oh, jeez, everything's falling apart here. See, hello, hello,
I got
and
excited.
I did. But yeah, and make sure also have your electronics charged up. It's always good to have everything charged up. iPads and your phones charged up just in case the power does go out and you need to, call someone or whatever. So that's always good to have. So those are my things for emergency prep.
I love it. Thank you. So next up, what we want to talk about is the um the feel good slash a sports story. Is
They go
this?
together.
Yeah, they go together. This guy Fernando Mendoza. I mean, I just heard of this guy just because we were watching the college football national championship. It was Indiana versus the Miami Hurricanes, Indiana Hoosiers versus the Hurricanes.
Indiana won.
Indiana won, and the quarterback, Fernando Mendoza, is the Heisman Trophy winner and reportedly going to be the first round pick in the NFL draft that's coming up in the spring, which I'm excited about just because I think his story is so great. So this young man had an opportunity to go to Yale, turned it down, and then submitted his football application to go to these colleges, like 100 to 130. Got turned down by all these colleges for football, and then finally got accepted to play ball at Berkeley,
Cal,
right?
Cal Berkeley. Yep.
Cal Berkeley. Stayed there, played, didn't really get the playing time that he wanted, and then decided to leave and transferred out and went to Indiana Hoosiers. And then they
National
went
champions. Yeah.
national champion.
Yeah.
Never happened before.
Feel good story. Yeah.
Feel good story. On top of that, his mom has multiple sclerosis, and so he would raise money for awareness and research to help the cause for his mom. And I just think this is so great because number one, he like tried to get on to all these college football teams, like 100 to 130 teams, didn't. And so to me, it's like that never give up, keep going. But then, you know, my mom, like, I saw pictures and videos. She's in a wheelchair. So, and then his dad, did you know his dad didn't stand up and cheer at the football game? I forgot to tell you about that earlier. He stayed seated with his mom because she couldn't stand up and cheer. And I just like think of that. Number one, the love from his dad for his mom. And then just that feel good story. I mean, like what
Never
goes through
giving
your
up.
mind?
Yeah. I mean, never giving up. It's you love stories like that. I'm sure they'll probably make a movie out of this.
I
Don't you think
know.
they you hear it about some musicians and movie stars and celebrities and other athletes that the never give up story, and they're great stories, and that's what keeps people going. Kind of like the quarterback for the Los Angeles Rams back in the day, or the Saint, or Kurt Warner, when they made a movie about him as well, because it was again never give up story. Same thing. He was bagging groceries at the grocery store, and then he got called by Dick Vermeil of the Rams to go try out or whatever, and then he became an MVP for the Super Bowl and stuff like that. So it's feel good stories like that that you love to hear, and they they
Even
do.
that guy Rudy, from Notre Dame. He just wanted to play, right?
Yeah,
So it's that whole like never give up, and then when it's tied around football, it's just
yeah.
it's so good. So we are looking forward to watching the draft. It's going to be in is it in Pittsburgh? Is that where I think the draft's
Yeah,
going to
I'm not.
be?
I'm not sure. I think it is.
So
Yeah.
that's really exciting. All right, next up, we're going to do something fun. Is what is the health tip today?
The health tip of the show today is very simple. Um, Stay hydrated. Drink lots of water. Water is so important to you and your body, and you need to drink 6 to 8 glasses a day, and that equals out to about 64 ounces of water, which is very important. It sounds so easy to do, but we don't do it. I don't do it as a PE teacher. I don't do it enough.
I don't do it
I have a
enough.
big Yeti that I take to school, and I try to fill that up at least twice. And but sometimes you just don't do it, and it's something you should do it. It's so good for your body, for your skin, hydrating, flushes all the toxins out. So just keeping yourself hydrated, and you'll feel better. It's a boost of energy. It's something that we lose so much water when we exercise and when we're out, like shoveling today, that you just need to keep yourself hydrated. That's very important. So drink your water, stay hydrated.
It is really important, and something that I definitely need to continue to work on is drinking more water because I know that it's great for my skin, and I'm very, want to make sure this looks okay. I don't want to have the adult acne
You
that
look beautiful.
sometimes comes out. Oh, you're so sweet.
Continue. We gotta continue
Okay,
the
we
show.
got to keep going. Got to keep rolling with the show here. All right. So next up, we went from drinking water, but Chris's favorite thing to do is show you how to make a drink.
The drink of the show for this week. Last week I made a Manhattan on the rocks, which is my go-to drink. Again, this is another over 21 drink. It's a fun drink. It's an easy drink. Um, I think last week when I said was talking about the drink, I didn't tell you the parts. I just kind of when I make my drinks, I just eyeball it all the time. But the Manhattan from last week was 4 count of the whiskey or bourbon, and then 2 count of the sweet vermouth. Today's is really equally. It's going to be a mimosa, which you can have on a snowy morning or a Saturday morning or uh, Sunday morning or maybe at brunch or whatever after church. And they're fun little drinks. They're easy. They make them in with different juices nowadays, but the original is orange juice and then champagne, and really it's half and half. Most people do half orange juice, half champagne. Top it off with the champagne, but you always start with the orange juice. So here's my glass. She made fun of my glass last week. This is my glass this week. I don't know if you can see it or not. Too
It
much
says
glare.
faith, family, and friends. Yeah, I think there's like some glare.
Yeah. So
We got to figure out how to
you
not
want to
have
hold
glare.
this so
All
we
right,
can
I will
make
hold
this?
it.
All right. So we should have a table up here eventually. So you want some orange juice, and this is little pineapple orange. So this works as well. A lot of times people use cranberry juice nowadays. They can use grapefruit juice. So they use different things. Half juice, and then you're going to go with your champagne, and the champagne
Just trying to do
um,
a pop.
or sparkling wine is what you use to top it off with. Always start with the juice first and then go with champagne. Again, this is only for 21 and over. And then you add that to the top
Keep going. Okay. All right.
and fill it to the last.
Oh,
And sometimes I like to add an ice cube or two. I like ice in my drinks. But so that's it. And then if you have a spoon or whatever, you want to mix it around. Um, you want to try it?
okay.
So if you have a garnish a lot of times they'll serve it with a strawberry. Um, Sometimes they'll serve it with an orange.
That's good.
It depends on what kind of juice you use. Like I said, they use cranberry sometimes. They use pineapple juice. So different kinds. But this is your basic half and half, half orange juice, half champagne. Cheers.
Cheers. Do you remember one of our first dates? We went to a particular restaurant and they had a mimosa light.
I do remember that. Yes.
So we got a bottle of champagne, and then he like brings over the bottle of champagne, and then like gave us only like a couple of juices, and I think it was like orange juice, pineapple, and cranberry, maybe one more, but
Uh, Pomegranate, I think. Yeah.
oh yeah, you're right,
Hmm.
pomegranate, and that was such a fun little. That was a fun date.
And and you know what? A lot of times people also add other stuff besides champagne. Like you want to make it a little stronger, they'll add a shot of vodka to it too.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that one,
When we're at the
but
beach house,
you
sometimes
can
we
have
do it.
you can have a Bellini, which is fancy mimosa. I think it's just like a peach Bellini.
Well, that
I
might
think
be with
that's just
peach
like
schnapps,
peach
maybe.
schnapps,
Maybe.
maybe.
I'm
And then
not sure though.
sometimes
I'm not
people
positive.
put raspberries in them.
Hmm.
So, and then I just got this flower ice mold that I want to do, which I got to have like a girls' weekend or something, or some kind of brunch soon. Who wants to do that with me? And it's these roses, so it's like a rose mold, and then I think I can make it with the orange juice, freeze that as the mold, and then you put that in the champagne glass, and then you pour the champagne, and then it's a fun rose. It's all like presentation, like looks cute. I know you probably won't like that, but all right. What is next? We talked about our health tip. We talked about our drink of the show. And what do we want to talk about now? Like now's our free for all. What do
Free
we?
for all. I don't know. I think we talked about a lot of stuff. What else you want to?
No. Let's see. Well, last week to piggyback off of last week, we were talking about the kids on their phones, paying attention in school. You know,
Right.
what else do we want to talk? Oh, and also, if you have an idea of what you want to hear us talk about, because we get into conversations sometimes and then we start laughing and we're like, oh, we should have recorded that because that was funny because we make ourselves laugh.
That's why we're doing this, really, just to entertain ourselves. But on the uh, on the relationship tip of the day of the show, we
Oh,
should finish up with
we should.
a relationship tip. Last week we talked about communication and listening to one another. This week,
I'm only laughing because sometimes Chris is like, were you listening to me? And I'm thinking, I thought I was. Sometimes I want him, and somebody raised their hand and agree with me on this one. I want him to look at me, make eye contact, like look at me when you're talking, not, be somewhere else. And ladies, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I feel like we can all agree on that. But then that goes back to women are from Venus, men are from Mars.
that's true.
But if I tell him I would
Then
really
I'm
like you
listening
to
and I'm
look at
looking
me
at
when
her.
you're talking to me, because then I think for me, like right now, I don't get to see as many people. So I'm like, I need to be around people and talk.
She'll talk to a rattlesnake. Trust me.
I would be afraid it'd bite me.
Yeah, right. You make friends with it. But yeah, just again, so that's an example of communication there and listening, and
But what was the
so we had,
relationship tip? I'm so
oh, the
sorry.
relationship we got off on. See, we
We've been drinking that. We've been
ADD.
drinking
No,
that bottle of champagne.
no, that's our problem. Our attention spans all over the place. So I would say today maybe the um relationship tip is just to make sure that you touch your partner once in a while. Grab their hand, hold their hand. Um, Maybe when you walk by them, give them a kiss on the forehead or cheek, or you know, and just you know, physical touch is important too. And I'm not trying to go anywhere else with that. I'm just trying to say like when you're when you're when you're out and about and doing things and you're talking or you're working or whatever, don't forget to do the little things and make them aware that you're thinking of them and stuff like that. I think that's important. And sometimes we forget. I know sometimes I forget. So when you
Yeah, we
get stuck
do.
with things,
I mean, I don't have the experience of being married, and Chris has been married, and so he has that as kind of like a baseline of where he was at in that relationship. And I have previous relationships, and for me it goes back to the communication thing where I would try to talk to him and it would be like he wouldn't talk. So I feel lucky in that regard that you're open to that, so that is super helpful. But yeah, the touch thing is definitely because you'll do that sometimes, like you'll come up and give me a little smooch.
hmm I, it's funny to watch my parents. I go back to my parents, but um, when you have kids, out there who have kids and or parents and stuff, you sometimes forget about one another and in that relationship with your significant other, and you're so focused on the parents. You got to get to soccer, you got to get to basketball, you got to get to scouts, you got to get to 4-H, wherever your kids working or whatever. What you're always running somewhere. You're going to school, and you're so focused on your kids and doing things for your kids that you forget one another, and that might have maybe been the downfall in my relationship, in my marriage. We were so focused on the kids. Maybe, well, there were other things obviously, but I mean that that could have helped. That might have helped with you know not not focus on one another, and that's something that you need to do. You need to focus on one another, and to bring it back to my parents again, as I'm going all around, when my when we left the house or we went away to college or whatever, I remember watching my parents starting to kind of date again, which was cool and cute. It was I'd watch them hold hands, or they were going out to dinner together, or going to a movie together, and they were doing more things together again, and that was cute because they did so much just for us, and it was all about us kids, and then to see them going back and kind of dating again and finding each other. I think that was cute, and that's what people need to do, and you kind of need to do that while you have your kids in the house
Yes,
as well. You
because
you might not have the luxury of doing it after the kids leave, so do it before.
but
Say have some time.
there's a reason why, like, I didn't mean to cut you off because I didn't want to forget my thought, but there's a reason why actually that is important to do that kind of thing in front of your kids, is to show your kids how to treat the partner, you know to be whatever partner you want to be, but show them, because kids do, mimic the things that you do, um, probably good and bad. And, I think it's great to show them, date night, taking time away from the house and having that, I always have seen that. I think date night's important. And I think the reason being, and it's a funny story, I probably actually have never shared this with you, is I had this coworker, Harold, who married a woman. She was from Germany, and they have two daughters who have now grown, and now I think they have grandkids. But they would go to Germany, and they would leave the girls there with the grandparents for like 6 weeks or something. And he would come back to work, and he'd be like, Michelle, I have my wife for like 4 weeks without our kids. And he would just be grinning from ear to ear. And this happens every year. And I thought, oh, people need to send their kids away more often, even though that's time
I wouldn't be
away
able
from
to
your
do that.
kids.
That would be way too
But,
much for me. But
right. Well, and also I get it. Like, from
yeah,
an economic standpoint, that's not easy. It's not something everybody can do.
I don't think I'd
But,
want to do that though. To be away from my kids for 4 weeks like that, 6 weeks, that'd be a lot for me.
but
But
everybody's,
I see what you're saying. I see
different.
what you're saying. Yeah.
Right. Because if you are so busy, but, so everybody's different. But, you know, I don't know. Anyway,
So that was the tip. I don't know if you got anything out of that or not. Did we get anything out of that?
I don't know. I did because
I did. Yeah.
you surprised me with the touch thing, and I didn't know that
I'm full of surprises.
I didn't know that you think about things like that. So that makes me happy. I'm a
Yeah.
talker though, so I'm always trying to talk it out. Like, what are you thinking today? What's going on today? But it's probably just because I just like to chit chat. All right. Well, that is going to wrap up this week's episode of the Looney Tunes, and we hope you were entertained. I swear I'm not drinking champagne.
Maybe she needs to. I don't know.
Anyway, we will see you again soon, and drop us a comment on what you want to hear from us to entertain ourselves.
Yeah, it's a lot going out here and doing this. I mean, it's fun for us, but also as soon as she posted this, I was like, boy, we're gonna get made fun of, and people are gonna
Yeah,
armchair
be
quarterback us,
gentle.
and so it's part of it. I get it. So we're just having fun with
We're
this.
just having
So
fun.
hopefully you guys get something out of it too and have fun. So take care of one another, and we'll see you later.